It's time people start breaking across the poverty line. It's time for us to change from the selfish indulgence we offer. We've got to rearrange while the blessings of love come over. Peace, perfect peace.
Welcome.
Peace, peace and love. Yeah.
Welcome to the program.
Perfect peace. Searching for
I know many of you are wondering why I like reggae music. Because it is inspiring and very educative.
over and shine, come shine. Children are growing, design. It's time,
Let's keep sharing the live video.
and we hope it will last forever. As sure as stars above.
Today's presentation is expected to be fiery.
None can defeat or escape the judgment this time. This time, people start breaking across.
I claim intellectual educator and innovator Troka Mungai will be our guest.
From the selfish indulgence we offer, we had to rearrange while the blessings of love come over.
Troka Mungai will be our guest.
Perfect peace, searching for peace.
He is gearing up to get set up.
Yeah. Peace, perfect peace.
Troka Mungai.
Searching for peace.
If you are watching, the people are actually waiting for you.
Brothers and sisters are holding a positive mind.
Let's keep sharing the live video.
The praises for blessings and love is divine.
Let's share the live video.
There's got to be a way for the weak and the humble to prosper. This one thing I will say, give thanks to God the Creator. Peace, perfect peace.
Drop in your comment as always.
Peace. When the workers are
Let's participate.
wars will be over when justice comes over and shine. Come shine. Children are growing creative.
Let's listen to an educated man.
It's time. We pray for peace and love. And we hope
Let's listen to an educated man.
sure as stars above.
Troka Mungai.
No none can defeat or escape this judgment this time. This time, people start breaking across the poverty line. It's time for us to change from the selfish indulgence we offer. We've got to rearrange.
There are lots of new things happening in our country, Liberia.
Peace, perfect peace.
We also need to talk about that.
When the workers are bringing this peace.
The campaign time is over. Let's talk about reconciliation.
When the workers are bringing
Let's talk about governance.
peace, perfect peace. It's time to believe.
Let's galvanize our ideas together
Workers are bringing this peace.
towards promoting Liberia.
Perfect peace. It's time to believe.
Let's go.
When the workers are bringing this peace.
Okay, folks, keep sharing the live video. Welcome to
You listening to DJ Duke.
Your love is like a burning fire way down in my soul. Your love is like a burning fire in my soul. You're on the top of my list, top of my list, baby. The top of my list, yeah.
Rewind and come back again, selector. Yeah, when you skip hold it, take it back from the top.
You're on the top of my list, top of my list, baby. The top of my list, yeah. Ooh, you're on the top of my list, top of my.
Okay, I have just spoken with Chukwumunga of Cameroon, and he is getting set. Few minutes from now, we will have Chukwumunga on our camera, and together we will discuss the future of Liberia. We will discuss every other issue. Before the elections and after the elections.
It's a blessing to be with someone like you. Now the ladies realize I am no longer solely touching by my side, and this new love I will treasure.
Okay, let's get back to our guest. Our guest is trying to get through to us. We cannot just take him. We'll continue playing the music. We cannot just take him. So we have.
Hello dear, my name is K. Lyndon Toba. I'm in search of a platform where I can get credible information of our daily happenings in Liberia and the world at large.
Hello, Lyndon Toba. My name is Finan Korishpa. Haven't you heard about Focal Online TV?
You say Focal Online TV?
Focal Online TV is located within a Tobo village community along the Japanese highway.
Tell me more about the platform.
This platform, called Focal Online TV Daily Edition of Inside the Print Media, does not encourage any form of dialogue between the viewers and the presenters.
Oh, you mean nobody calling there?
No, you can't call on a show. Let me talking out like with no calling there. So all you can do is you will listen to the news, and they can also encourage you to buy the newspaper to listen to the news in details.
But do you do viewer recognition at times?
Oh yes, we do viewer recognition. When you are watching, we notify you, and sometimes we even appreciate you on a show, telling you thank you for always following us. We also encourage you to share the live stream, because the more you share the live stream, we transform and we transition ourselves as a broadcast team as well.
Wow. So when can I better get this program you are talking about?
This program is aired every Monday to Friday at 10 a.m. to 10:45. The program runs for 45 minutes.
Wow.
And guess what?
Wow.
We bring you hot stories of our trending situation within our country, Liberia. Imagine hearing stories from Hot Pepper newspaper, from the Daily Observer newspaper, from Front Page Africa. Are you a lover of Front Page Africa?
Oh yes, I'm a lover of
Front Page Africa, and the Women Voices, and a lot more. Not forgetting international news, BBC,
wow.
CNN, ABC News. We bring you headlines from those standpoints.
Wow, that is very, very, very amazing.
So we say, join us every day on the daily edition of
Welcome viewers, wherever you are following our broadcast. This is how I'd like to officially welcome you to Inside District number 13 on the District Premium platform, Focal Online TV. On Inside District number 13, we bring issues as it unfolds within the district. We place premium emphasis on issues District number 13 is confronted with. On Inside District number 13, we afford the opportunity to market dwellers, street vendors, keke riders, taxi drivers, school principals, school proprietors, students, and the disadvantaged youth. I am your host, Mohammed Vani Kanem. Join us every Thursday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. for the program Inside District number 13 on Focal Online TV.
I don't know about you, but I'm always feeling good when it comes to conversation relating to women. So every Wednesday, we air out our women conversation on the Focal Women Talk. And of course, I am your presenter and your host, Craig Finan Korishpa. I love to be called Courage. I'm encouraging you to please join this platform on Focal Online TV, where we discuss issues concerning women. We talk about health issues, we talk about career issues, we talk about those challenging things we face in our daily lives as women. Please do not be deterred because you are not a woman at a particular age. Be reminded you can be a girl, you can be a teenager, you can be a woman, and you can still join this conversation. Please join me every Wednesday at 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. where I drill you through with an interesting conversation relating to us women. So please stay with me on Focal Online TV, where we bring you innovation to broadcasting. Thanks for watching. I am your host, Craig Finansipa, saying have a blessed day.
These are the tides are shifting. People should kneel down and pray. Then free at last from the wars and my some pestilence away. Yeah. Never to lean on the end of your screen, cause life will fade them away. Keep on going on, baby. On and on and on and on and on and on. I realize I'm one of the bright you're a lady and you in the right side. Keep on going on, baby. On and on and on and on and on and on. Never turning back to the people who fly. Moving forward together on this way. My desire is to tell you at home. You're much more than a baby mother. Now, darling, a gift to me from the Father. He praises to Almighty Jaja for bringing me here. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na na na. Ooh, na. Na 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 na.
Okay, welcome back. I showed our guest is trying to get set. Troka Mungad is our guest. He is trying to get set. It has not been a very easy thing to do, especially when you don't send Okram to the kind of technology we are using. Howbeit, our team is working to ensure that Troka Mungad can be placed on camera. Keep sharing the live video. Okay, I just see the notification of our boss. Andy is trying to help Troka Mungad. I don't know as to whether you can help him in the process, but I have sent him the link. We will keep playing the music until we can have every other technical issue resolved to start with our broadcast. It is not easy to just Troka Mungad. However, our technical team is still posted here, working tirelessly to ensure that Troka Mungad can be heard.
Fuck out TV. bringing you innovation to broadcasting, news, views, comments, and analysis of issues happening in Liberia and the rest of the world. For God TV, with check and balance, we bring it as it unfolds. For God TV, bringing you face to face with newsmakers in town. For God TV, the best online platform in broadcasting. For God TV, located at Topo Village, Somalia Drive, Liberia. Be the part and experience the best in online broadcasting. Keep focused.
Okay, let's paint a picture, make it big, putting out the pressure. Patriarchy has become official, so let's talk about it, cause I'm seeking closure. Women have a different set of rules, but they should apply to your gender too. You judging me by the way I dress, while you walk in the streets with a bare chest? Yeah, bare chest, man, it's double standards. You DJ loud, but you can't stand it. You cheat on me many times, but when I do it once, you act like your life sending. Let's talk about rape, discrimination, narcissism, that determination. To subjugate women and make them slaves, on domestic abuse, we get digging grave, fall up in my face, talk about you the man, generating fear like the boogeyman. You think you know women, you're very late, cause pure opinions, but you can't relate, so drop the axe at the record scratch. We done eating from an empty plate. I carry a child for 9 months, man, I bear pains you could never take. You said that women are the weaker vessel. If that is true, then we need protection. If you all were doing your jobs as men, we wouldn't be having this conversation. If I get a job, then you say I slept. If I don't, you say I'm a lazy wreck. But I'm a leader, then you feel threatened. Every day my existence is being questioned. Stop the bias. Stop the bias.
Yeah, I appreciate the advocacy, and yes, I listen to your allegations, but let me correct the misunderstanding and point out the flaws in your presentation. See, patriarchy is a word that women use every time they don't want to submit, and that is because they choose to be manipulative and put all the blame on the men. So women are never wrong, they always right. You call them out, they start to cry. You say the fact, then it's body shaming. Tell them cover up, then it's slut shaming. I walk around with my bare chest, cause I don't have two shooting breasts. It's simple biology, all we ask from you is decency. We are not enemies. Say narcissism and a male trait, women do it too, ask Will Smith. Domestic abuse and rape, I don't by poorly raised man, not a man. Why y'all trying to mess with God's plan? All this victim playing, I am not a fan. You talk about 9 months, but I spend my whole life working with my hands all for a woman. How is that fair? If we ain't got money, you don't care. See, I don't see women complaining about being a farmer, but y'all wanna be president. So this ain't even about equality, it's about power and mastery. Truth hurts, but it gotta be said. Can't eat your cake and have it, I swear. No. Who's biased now?
Okay, folks, we are trying to get our guest on.
Baby, you know I felt this way before. Many times before.
Keep sharing the live video.
Now you can believe yourself.
Our guest will be in
a man
any moment from now.
Oh, darling, 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 please consider me.
Okay, I have just been notified. Our technical team in the background. Our guest is all set up. I want to say kudos to our technical team for working tirelessly to ensure our guest is on now. Please sharing the live video. Keep sharing the live video. an acclaimed intellectual, educator, a nationalist. Choka Mungad is our guest. We are going to start the conversation.
Just leave me alone.
So, Chokum, are you there? Chokum, are you there? All right, he is still experiencing some difficulty as it relates to connecting on our stream, but we are here. So Chokum God will be joining us very shortly. But let's start talking about other issues in our country. So, as you may be following, there has been scores of trending issues that has been reported by the various news media relative to the resurrection of a case that a lot of people have forgotten about. Uh, this is the case involving former Chief Justice Gloria Musu Scout and Mayor Major Jefferson Koji, the Lord Mayor of the city of Monrovia, involving another person called Vanny Tillett. So a few days ago, the court issued a writ of subpoena against Mayor Jefferson Koji and ensuring that he make available Vanny Tillett. So that particular request was made by the lawyer representing Gloria Musu Scout. So at the same time, the court also extended a writ of subpoena to the two network operators in Liberia, Orange Liberia and MTN. So that is where the case is. So apparently by tomorrow, which by Monday rather, which will be the 4th of December, we will actually be listening to the various arguments. And I want to believe that the Lord Mayor Jefferson Koji, considering the fact that he has always been cooperative throughout the investigation, he will definitely do as much as possible to ensure that he will do as much as possible to remain a respecter of the rule of law. So, like he has always done since the start of the case, since there was being allegations leveled against him of his involvement of being the mastermind of such mayhem at the residence of Gloria Musu Scout in Virginia. He has always been cooperative with the investigation. So that is where we are as it relates to the investigations. So we are still hoping that our guest, Tuka Mungab, but one of the issues that I have noticed so far is that he is experiencing an issue with his camera. Hello, Chokum.
Hey, Landon, thank you so much for your patience. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you very well. So, is there a way you can connect with the camera so that the people who are watching can be able to see you physically?
Definitely. I've been having issues using my computer camera, but I'm using my cell phone right now to try to get on. And I think with my cell phone, with the combination of my cell phone and the computer, it will be able to show the picture on the computer. So that's what I'm trying to do right now. Just a moment. Watching with YouTube.
All right, Chief. We'll take a short break to make to empower you to do the adjustment as possible. Okay, let's just take a short break, folks. Keep sharing our live video. Let's take a short break.
Hello there, my name is K. Lyndon Toba. I'm in search of a platform where I can get credible informations of our daily happenings in Liberia and the world at large.
Hello, Gilly Nontopa. My name is Grefina Nkorishpa. Haven't you heard about Focal Online TV?
You say Focal Online TV?
Focal Online TV is located within a Tobo village community along the Japanese highway.
Tell me more about the platform.
This platform, called Focal Online TV Daily Edition of Inside the Print Media, does not encourage any form of dialogue between the viewers and the presenters.
Oh, you mean nobody calling there?
No, you can't call on a show. Let me talking out like when we're no calling there. So all you can do is you will listen to the news, and they can also encourage you to buy the newspaper to listen to the news in details.
But do you do viewer recognition at times?
Oh yes, we do viewer recognition. When you are watching, we notify you, and sometimes we even appreciate you on a show, telling you thank you for always following us. We also encourage you to share the live stream, because the more you share the live stream, we transform and we transition ourselves as a broadcast team as well.
Wow. So when can I better get this program you are talking about?
This program is aired every Monday to Friday at 10 a.m. to 10:45. The program runs for 45 minutes.
Wow.
And guess what?
Wow.
We bring you hot stories of our trending situation within our country, Liberia. Imagine hearing stories from Hot Pepper newspaper, from the Daily Observer newspaper, from Front Page Africa. Are you a lover of Front Page Africa?
Oh yes, I'm a lover of
Front Page Africa, and the Women Voices, and a lot more. Not forgetting international news, BBC,
wow.
CNN, ABC News. We bring you headlines from those standpoints.
Wow, that is very, very, very amazing.
So we say, join us every day on the daily edition of Inside the Print Media at 10 a.m. with the headlines of top stories in our country and the world at large on Focal Online TV.
All right. So I want to believe that our guest Chokomanga is now set, so that we can go strictly into the issue. Chokom, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you very loud and clear. So let me try to place you on the screen. You are now placed on the screen. Let's see. Let's see. Are you sat down?
Yeah, everything is set from my end.
Okay. So, we want to say thank you for honoring our invitation, and we are very glad to have you on the program Good Evening Liberia. So, just in a split of a seconds or a minute, tell us about who is Chokomungai.
Chokomungai is a resident of
the Battery Factory community, and that is where I live. That is where I know. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, yep, that is where I live. That is where I know. That is my birthplace. I have my professional experience in finance and economics. I work for one of the Fortune 50 companies in the United States, Target Corporation, and I'm one of their consultant on treasury. So in the layman term, it's almost like the central bank of Target. I'm one of those who work there as a consultant in the treasury department. I have my education background in mathematical economics. I got a bachelor of science in mathematical economics. I have my master's of business administration in business phenomenology, and I'm studying for a doctor of business administration at the Liberty University in Virginia. I am a volunteer. I opted to have contested the legislative seat of District 13. Fortunately and unfortunately, and I have a reason why I use those two words. I was not placed on the ballot. I was not allowed to contest. I didn't contest, and pretty much that is me. I'm an ordinary person. I like to interact with people, waiting to learn from everyone, and always open to sharing my view on everything that is open for discussion. I think you muted, Lyndon. You muted.
Okay. Okay, since you had an ambition to contest for the representative seat in district tech team, we will start the discussion from district tech team. What has been your perspective owing to the fact that 17 candidates and 17 candidates, including some familiar faces who once contested in the election twice or perhaps three times, and yet still the people of District Tech team decided to re-elect Edward Pape Flomo. What do you observe as the contributing factor towards that?
You see, Liberia subscribe to the long-term democracy, and our democracy is a bit more open than even the guys that we adopted it from, because Liberia is almost like we almost like copy everything from the United States, and within the United States, you don't just go to the ballot, elect a president, and then based on the popular vote, that president takes over the national leadership. So, for example, like we had the elections in Liberia recently where the ordinary people voted for Joseph Boakai. In the United States, after the majority have voted for a particular person, the electoral college, which is considered as the inclined branch of American, they go back and make an informed decision that will be in the best interest of the Liberian people. That is America. In China, they have the Chinese Communist Party. The ordinary people will go and vote for the candidate of their choice, and the premium members of the Central Committee and Politburo of the Communist Party of China, they will go in their caucus and make an informed decision. So, in essence, what they are trying to say, that is not my own word, they are trying to say that sometimes the majority of the people can make the wrong decision. That is the reason why every society should have a group of inclined people to be able to inform or shape the direction of the people's decision in the right direction. I think had we had our democracy being protected or shifted in that kind of manner, we wouldn't have had maybe Mr. Joseph Boakai as president or Edwin Papi Flomo as the lawmaker. For my own thinking, I think when people are electing a lawmaker or president or senator, they should be looking for a candidate with the best ideas. They should be supporting someone who have a practical experience to represent them. That's number one. Somebody who have the practical experience to deliver what the people are wanting to see. Like for me, when it comes to Liberian politics, I got exposed to politics through the teaching of Dr. Togba Nine Tipote. And it is Dr. Togba Nine Tipote and Mr. Seymour Freeman. Never supported Seymour Freeman before, but I learned from him a lot. During every elections, Seymour Freeman and Dr. Tokpa Nantipote, they will be the very first to present their idea to transform the Liberian society. Like for example, in 2011, Mr. Mr. Seymour Freeman projected a policy called the wealth creation strategy, telling the Liberian people that if you elect me as president, I will be able to do X, Y, and Z to make sure that I change the living condition of the Liberian people. And Dr. Tipote came and said that if you make me president, I will be able to transform the Liberian economy, and all of the living condition of the Liberian people is going to change, and the Liberian people will have no reason to struggle or live in their own country as if they are refugees. So,
So
if people are making
in a nutshell, how does those scenarios and those explanations relate to
district
that of
team,
which of course district tech team?
thank you. I was just about to go there. So,
Mhm.
from the thinking of a sound person, of an average thinking, we thought the people of district 13 would have clearly x-rayed all of the platforms presented by the candidates who were contesting for the legislative seat. And doing those kind of examination, we expected them to have put a dark shade on their eyes so that they cannot even look at the political party or person comes from. For example, if district 13 major problem, because there's a big difference between problem and issues. So if the major problem in district 13 was the entire district is lacking access to education. Maybe there's no government school in the district. And the people of the district unanimously decided that they want to select a lawmaker who will be able to make sure that the government have a school in District 13. Say that is one of the issue. If the second issue was District 13 doesn't have safe drinking water, and of all of the candidates, say we have an issue-based election, right? Not an election where one person will just come from battery factory and be giving 200,000 to the people, and then they vote for him. If the people listen to the view, say Mr. Toba comes and he tell you that, okay, since I have my background in X, Y, and Z field, I will be able to do one, two, and three to make sure that we have the education that we need and we'll be able to do this. And Chokon comes and say, I will be able to do X, Y, and Z if I get elected to make sure that we have quality education in our district and we also have safe drinking water. The responsibility of our people then is to look at the record of Chokon. What Chokon did before in his past experience in the different areas that he have worked to show that he will be able to deliver if we elect him to represent us. That's number one. Number two, what have been Chokon experience whenever he have been projected to represent his people. So if you go to the ballot or if you make your decision from that kind of analysis, the first thing that will happen is that Mr. Edward Papi Flomo will not be considered for the seat. And the simple most important reason why he won't be considered, like, I know I've criticized him a lot and he's my very, very good friend. But I think when it comes to providing leadership for our people, that is something that we should divorce from personal friendship. Yeah, there should be some line of dichotomy. We should call that line of dichotomy. If it's your brother, it's your father, and he's not able to represent your people, you should be able to speak it out. The first thing that Flomo lacks, is that Flomo doesn't have any specialization. And going into the House of Representatives, you are going to represent your district. And more often,
But
all of the lawmakers.
one could argue that there is no requirement of having a specialization as a constitutional requirement for one to contest for the legislative seat.
No, but there's a requirement, and it is commonsensical, right? Like for example, if you go to the House, say the people of Liberia elected everybody who don't have any specialized area, and then everybody have to be placed either as chairman, co-chairman, or member of a committee, and you are placed on a committee of budget or maybe healthcare, and they are discussing healthcare related issue. Like I think Flomo they placed on the committee on, I think, something about finance and economic affairs. Doing most of the committee section, Flomo is taciturn. You will see him displaying. You see him having a lacton. He's not going to say anything. He's not going to ask some of those technical questions. He's just going to be muted. In time to vote, he's just going to be voting, and that is not the reason why we should be selecting people to serve as a lawmaker. Say, for example, I didn't support Cornelia Crack, but Cornelia Crack, she's from the legal background. So, for example, if we are talking about law reform, and she was sitting in that house, she will be able to ask the best question and she will be able to scrutinize some of those documentation as compared to the person that we have right now. So I'm not trying to project her specifically, but I think there are other people who we should have looked at. And for my personal judgment, that is the reason why I made the kind of decision that I made. For my personal judgment, everyone who contested, including Mr. Flomo, Konida Kra, and my own friend Wilma Smith that I supported, they do not merit my personal judgment of the kind of lawmaker that we need for our country. I didn't see one in District
Uh, uh,
13.
so, what is your classifications about the victory? And because Flomo belief, on the other hand, is based upon the development he has been able to implement for the people in the last years or serving the people. So you are now saying that Flomo victory is based upon your own interpretation. So how do we analyze between those two things?
When it comes to personal benevolence, I know Flomo, he has always been a good person to his people. Flomo is noted for distributing the hundreds of thousands to all of the communities. He has been supporting women organizations. That is something that no one can dispute. But on the other hand, we should also look at the character ability that Flomo possesses. We should also look out the dark cloud that Flomo as an individual has placed over our entire district and the legacy is set for our young people. That's number one. Another thing that we should
What?
also, yeah, I'm going to relate the development to his election,
Mhm,
right? I'm going to get to it.
mhm.
So, for example, if Chokum was going to be elected, say Flomo is elected as a lawmaker, How did Flomo become a lawmaker? Flomo became a lawmaker by selling drug in the community. That's number one. He got a lot of resources for himself. It's
Those are
not alleged.
allegations.
No,
Those are
I,
allegations.
yeah, and I can share that information with you. He was arrested before when he was bodyguard to President Weah in 2012 at the Center Street police station. He was incarcerated, and the current president right now, Ambassador Weah, baited him out through some special negotiation. And at the time, I think drug was bailable, so if you were arrested for drug, you will still get outside. And if you want to question it, you can question it. But I individually wrote the U.S. embassy, and I think you saw when I published his U.S. visa application or his U.S. visa that was denied, his U.S. visa that he got. I wrote the U.S. embassy and I wrote the British embassy. That is the reason why he cannot travel to any of those countries because he had been noted as the wholesale distributor of drug in the entire Republic of Liberia. So that is not something that is clear, and it's up to you. I know you're a journalist and you have to be balanced, but we have to be glaring. We have to be clear. We all live in the communities. We understand the economic activities of the community. We know how people amass wealth from having worked anywhere before. He doesn't have any professional background. He doesn't have any educational sophistication. He haven't lived abroad. So where did he get the money from that he's building out of the houses that he's using? You can do a lifestyle audit and then look at the accusation against him and look at how he got his resources. Maybe we should be asking those questions instead of verifying whether he sells drug or not.
So,
But to be
so
honest, I
you
think
made.
the people of District 13 made one of the biggest mistakes. I think they made one of the biggest mistakes by electing Flomo. Although
Mhm.
in my own classification, all of the guys who were contesting, they didn't meet my classification. But I think they could have still selected one of the best. They could select one of the lesser evils, and that could have been either Wilmer Smith, either Conita Cry, or one of the guys, or I think Prince Gidu, or one of the guys who contested. But
A lot of people.
if our district will keep making this kind of decision, I think it's going to put a dark cloud over our district at a certain point because my first lawmaker that I saw after the initial demarcation in 2000 and it was 2005. That was Tanapuri.
Yes.
Tanapuri, although although Tanapuri he was being loved by a lot of people, but Tanapuri wasn't the best for our district, and that is the reason why, as early as 2007, the former co-chair of Battery Factory Community, Emmanuel Zoga, we started printing out the gray sheet of the lawmakers, and he used to be running behind us and sending police to arrest us. Tanapuri he couldn't speak English. He could not represent our people when there are critical discussion. Tanapuri speak in the people in the house be laughing. That is not the kind of representation we need. Number two, we elected Sir Joseph. Sir Joseph a lawmaker for our district for several period of time. Apart from the development, which of the laws that he made that will have some long-term economic impact on our community? He's no longer our district lawmaker. We have Color Green. What has Color Green done for our district? Apart from distributing hundreds of thousands, we should be selecting lawmakers
What's about
who will be engaging.
the bridge that was constructed, the Judy Brown Bridge?
I think the major issue of our district is not really about infrastructure development. Infrastructure development should be like an addition to what a lawmaker should be doing. We expect Color Green or Edward Papi
Mhm,
Flomo during the
mhm.
budget debate to make sure that he's advocating for our district to have a larger share of the national cake, ensuring that young people in our district. And I was actually surprised with the proximity that Papi Flomo has to the president because the president almost like he died. I supported President Weah. Papi Flomo used to be like a bodyguard to the president all along. With the proximity he had, I felt like he would have recommended some of the best brain in our district to serve in key positions. I'm not sure if he did it. I'm not sure because I'm quite aware there are a lot of bright young people, smarter than even us. They went to the university. Some of them graduate with honors, and they are not working. So we expect our lawmaker to make sure that he's advocating to make sure that our district have a larger share of the national cake and making sure that he be able to attract projects in our district that will give our young people the opportunity to work and not to be behind one lawmaker who will give them $200 or $300. It shouldn't be that way. It should be the other way around. They should be able to work. They should be independent and be able to make their own informed decision.
So, Mr. Bogai, you've been very passionate about District 13 having the best quality of leader. Do you foresee any hiding in our politics owing to the fact that many of the peoples in this particular district has become so accustomed to the fact that the current lawmaker has always been ditching money out to attract their vote? Do you anyhow see a hiding in our politics in the nearest future?
Um, so we have a responsibility, and I'm so happy that we have some independent people in the media who will be projecting some of those issues. But I think our politics doesn't have any form of hygiene right now. It is polluted, and it is the responsibility of us, the young people, to keep informing our people on how to make informed decisions. And the way in which we can do that, for example, if you are in your little community and there is either a community election or maybe there's a presidential election, making sure that you engage in our people, telling them how to vote, what are the issues that they should be looking at in making an informed decision, and making them understand that making them understand the dangerousness associated with electing the bad leader. Because if our politics will be circled around a leader taking 200,000 and dashing it out to a community or maybe building bridges, after building those bridges, they leave the political free, and our people are left with nothing to benefit after they have received the 200,000 or 300,000, and then they wait until the next election for the next person to bring 200, 300,000. Whereas there are some young people, like my argument about contesting District 13 has never been myself. And I think Cornelia Cry and the lack of the guts they can admit. I call all of the young people and they didn't listen to my prescription. Have we listened to my prescription by now? Flomo would have been history. I said that we as the young people, because even Flomo was a young person, we only had two or three older person contesting. My prescription was we as young people we should come together, converge, and bring together the young people of the district so that they can be able to select one of us to go and contest. And whoever is selected, that person can go ahead and represent our district. Have we followed that decision? That would have been fun. And the reasoning behind that decision making was if we come together, say Cornelia Cry, Emmanuel Wilson, my former economics teacher who lives in Chocolate City, Mr. Wilmer Smith, and the Bobla Jala, and the lack of the guys who had interest. If we are going to come together and decide that, okay, it doesn't matter who's going to become the lawmaker, but whoever is elected lawmaker, if you are elected, you should make sure that you put this issue, that issue, and this issue. And we all
That could
have
be a
a
very
collective, and we have a
that
collective
could be a
agenda.
very
No,
that could be a very difficult decision owing to the fact that everyone wants to participate in the political space of our country, and most significantly they want to try their luck. Apparently they want to get prominent by their participations into the process.
yep, I think that is linked to the hero theory of politics. Like everybody trying to gain their personal fame. And politics should be a people-centered game where you are contesting because you want to impact the living condition of the people or you want to push the people agenda. So if you are entering into politics with that mindset that you are that the only reason why you are contesting is to make sure that you put the people issue, then you shouldn't have any issue getting the young people together and having them unanimously electing one candidate and then projecting that candidate. For example, Cornelia Crack contested, I think she came second. If all of the young people were going to come together and select Madam Crack, that would have been an obligation on Chokon as a person, regardless of my political background, to support that person. That would have been an obligation on everybody else who contested against Edward Papi Fomo. Had we had that kind of consensus and with everybody being committed to it, we would have had Flomo as lawmaker because if you calculate all of the votes that came from the other side, apart from what Flomo got, they were huge. And even 2% of those could make Cornelia Cry or whoever came second could make them lawmaker. But everybody keep thinking about themselves, and that is one of the major reasons why I would like to call him. That's one of the major reasons why I didn't select Madam Cornelia Crab, because when I engaged her with that conversation, she was clear and very blunt, saying that the only way she can enter into that arrangement is when she's the head of the ticket, and it doesn't work like that. We should respect the decision of the ordinary people. They are the one who we are trying to represent. So if we converge, for example, if Chokon brings 10%, Cornelia Crab brings 10%, Tokwa brings 10%, and we all bring all of those people together, if they make an informed decision saying that we decide to support this person, it could be whoever. We should respect that decision and support the person. And that is the way politics
Okay,
should be.
you've been following the process, particularly the District 13 legislative election process, owing to the fact that the lower belt, which Flomo hails from, has always been voting for Edward Papi Flomo, and that of the lower belt. Other could argue that if the likes of Solomon Chipo and other people who contested in the elections have demonstrated much, but then Cornelia who have defeated Edward Papi Flomo. How do you weigh in with those two analyses? Hello?
I'm not too sure Cornelia will have won Flomo, even if how you call the guy Chipo was gonna put up a strong fight. And I don't know what is your definition of a strong fight, because I followed the campaign. I didn't support Mr. Solomon Chipo for personal reason, but Chipo had a clear agenda to represent our people. He presented his agenda to our people in District 13. It was not part of his responsibility to distribute cash in the district. It wasn't part of his responsibility to distribute scholarship. If he did it all of his personal benevolence, which is a good thing. But he did everything he could, and the people decided that they supported Flomo. He contested, so I think he put up a strong fight, and everyone else put up a strong fight, and Flomo got victorious. And the vote that girl got, I'm not too sure that is an attribute or that signifies the quality of leader that she is. It doesn't signify that. It doesn't signify the quality of leader that she is. I think that decision was based on I think that decision was based on the Liberian people anger. There were too many things that they were wanting to see in President Weah that they could not have seen. That's number one. And looking at the political landscape, the only person that they could have selected to represent them, was the Unity Party and their candidate. And for that reason, that is the
You
reason
are
why.
you are producing a lot of feedback. Is there a way you can make an adjustment so that we can eradicate that feedback?
Is it much?
Come again?
Is it much better?
No, your voice is like cracking and cracking through the microphone. Hello? Hello? Chokon, are you there? Hello? Chokon, are you there? You are muted. You are muted. Chokon, you are muted. You are muted.
Lennon, can you hear me?
Yeah. You muted yourself not too long.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Now you are much better.
Is it much better?
Yep. Yeah, just flow.
So basically, that's my reading of the. I'm getting some feedback.
Okay, speak through now. Speak. Hello? Mr. Moga, are you there?
I'm in the backstage. You want to bring me in? Please.
Yeah, coming. Yeah, you are already on camera. Just go. Just speak.
I'm in the backstage. The camera is only for the video, and my headphone is connected to the computer.
All right, it is much better now. Let's just speak. Just speak.
Okay, yeah. So that is the reason why she got elected, based on my own thinking. I'm not too sure our people saw her as a leader to represent them, but based on their anger and based on their expectation that the CDC didn't meet, that is the reason why they went on to have selected the major political party that they saw as their liberator then, and that is the vote that she got. But that's my personal reading. I could be wrong. Someone else could be right, but that's my personal reading. I'm not too sure she married the vote of our people. I'm not too sure if she's one of the best person who contested for our district seat, but I think it is based on the sympathy that Liberian people had for the Unity Party and their candidates in Liberia. That is how she got the amount of vote that she got.
Okay, let's transition over to the national politics. You have been literally following the politics back home, even on the number routine where you are in the United States of America. You have been closely monitoring the trend of politics, especially the national scene. What is your overview, looking at taking into consideration the fact that President Weah went into the elections, and despite the coalitions of democratic change you have been supporting continuously, were actually opting for a one-round victory, but based upon the number of political parties in the process, they didn't achieve the one-round victory. What is your own observation that may have contributed to the fact that CDC never obtained the one-round victory as being announced and vigorously campaigning throughout of their campaign activities?
So the CDC defeat was based on a lot of different issues. The first major thing that I would think of is that the government of Dr. Weah did a whole lot for the Liberian people, but they did little in communicating their good work in Liberia and outside of Liberia. Like, for example, when President Weah announced the free tuition policy in Liberia, that would have been on news to shake the entire world. I live in the United States where people think there are opportunities all on the street. But the free tuition policy that President Weah projected in Liberia is by far better than the financial aid policy that the US government has. And one of the reasons why I'm saying that is because the financial aid policy in America, you have to be either a US citizen or permanent resident. In America, there are more than 50 million people who don't have the documentation. They are now a US citizen, they are not permanent resident. And because of that limitation, they cannot attend free school in America. That's one. In Liberia, whether you're from Nigeria, you're from Cameroon, you're from Cape Verde, in as much you pass the UEL entrance and you are granted admission, you're going to benefit from that free tuition policy. That is unprecedented. That free tuition policy that we have projected, it has a long-term economic benefit for the entire Liberia. The estimation that was made before we have projected that policy was, if London is in Bon County, he lives in Kokoya. After graduating from high school, the government doesn't have money to put in everybody's pocket. But if this guy will come and attend the medical college at the University of Liberia, or maybe attend Bon County Technical College and obtain a bachelor's degree or maybe associate degree in nursing, the government has provided him an accommodation to be able to win a lot of bread for his family. I know there are difficulties all over the world. There will definitely be difficulty, especially during the initiation of a brand new policy. There were some issues. I heard people talking about students sitting on the floor.
Yeah, most definitely. Those were issues.
Those were issues. But we don't expect them. Everything cannot change in one day, right? It happens over time. And I'm one person who is not opposed to people talking about issues that they are being confronted with, because if you're not comfortable with something, you should be able to speak out. But my thing is, if you want to criticize the president, like for example, I attended UL a couple of years and I dropped before coming to the United States based on economic reasons. When I was on UL, I was an active member of the Student Unification Party. At the time, my Pikin Martin just entered college, and our generation of students, right, we call ourselves the feast must fall generation. We were advocating for tuition to drop from $175 to $100. If that was your advocacy, and the government reduced, and the government canceled tuition, we were advocating for early to reduce it from $175 to $100. And then George Weah came and he canceled everything. And you still criticize his George Weah without appreciating him for what he had done, then there should be some issue.
Yeah,
the reason why.
Political pundit who classified the ongoing tuition-free policy as a knee-jerk situation intended to neutralize an uprising tension at the time. What is your take on that particular issue?
I think when a government brings forth a policy, we should look, or even if you want to be political or critical, in making those kind of analysis, use the cost benefit analysis. Look at what it is going to cost the ordinary person and what is going to be their short-term and long-term benefit. Without that policy, students were going to be paying, I don't know the conversion, but I think about $50 US every semester. And there are some people in Liberia who cannot just afford that. Because there are some folks in Liberia, they have a family of 4 or 5 in their house, and they are making $175. The $175 cannot even satisfy their consumption, their household consumption. So if you have your income that cannot even feed your family, meaning you don't have anything to save for emergency, like a child sick, there's nothing somebody can run to. How will you pay school fees? When we have projected that policy, the enrollment rate at all of the universities and colleges in Liberia went up. In the first year, there was an analysis made, and it said that enrollment at public universities and colleges went up by 8% in the first year that we have brought forth that policy. Let me tell you this story before we leave the free tuition policy. When I was in UL, I had a friend who came from the interior, and his only surviving relative he had in Liberia was living in Omega. That's where behind around Puebla Rail Light.
Yeah, Rail Light way.
That guy benefited from SUP scholarship. SUP helping to pay about 75% of his school fees. He struggled. He was trying to obtain a bachelor's degree in civil engineering. At the time, we were on main campus. And many days, he would either come to school late or he would miss class because he could not have afforded the $20 to get in the NTA bus from Rail Light to main campus. He struggled for a year. He struggled for the second year. Although SUP had its own way of helping us, but at a certain point, he gave up. He went back to the interior. He started making fun. As part of the responsibility that brother shared, he had to pay tuition out of his pocket. With the free tuition policy, I'm pretty sure that the extra income that guy used to pay his additional tuition and to feed himself, he's going to be able to use that income to only transport himself from Puebla to Central Morelos to attend school to go to Federal. One thing that the government did, I don't know if you're attending one of the public universities. One thing that the government started doing in all of the counties was that all of the public universities and colleges in Liberia, the government makes sure that there is a pathway for our students with disability to be able to commute from point A to point B, for example. And that is something that was going on gradually before the president got rejected by the people. And I'm hoping that Joseph Boakai will be able to continue some of those projects. Before, if you cripple, because we have some crippled students, if you cripple, somebody have to either tow you or put you to go upstairs 3rd floor at the GT building on your campus. That is a shame. That is embarrassing. Because everybody do not have the same physical condition. There are some people who cannot walk, and nobody going to be feeling comfortable for somebody else to be pushing them to go up or toting them in their hand to take them on 3rd floor or 2nd floor. As a result of that, sometimes people are going to even miss their classes. Even there's a time a female student even pee on herself because the bathroom is not accessible to people living with disability. Those were people that were rejected by the previous government of Early and Joseph Boakai. When we came to power, and I don't know if you're familiar with this, we have the National Commission on Disability.
Yeah, I'm actually familiar with this.
Okay, so the National Commission on Disability was formed by a national legislative documentation called the Act that created the National Commission on Disability. Article 4 of that Act and you can fact check me if I'm wrong, correct me. Article 4 of the Act that created the National Commission on Disability said that every government ministry and entities should ensure that they appoint full person with disability to work in each of those government ministries and entities. That was never implemented during the Ellen government that passed that act. And under President William, if you visit the ministries and agencies, that was something that they started on. And almost every government ministries and agency, if you ask me, I can name it even four because I follow that. I can name it more than 4 different persons that got in key position under President William. Leave the education sector.
Yeah, there could be a flip side of the argument why where other people could turn the defeat of President Weah as his government not being able to make available the bread and butter needs of the Liberian people, because most often those are key concerns many Liberians are normally faced with. They are mostly concerned that whether the government is able to provide their bread and butter needs. So that could be a justifiable reason why the people actually rejected George Weah at the ballot box.
I think the expectation of the Liberian people was extremely high when they elected President Weah. And like Bwaka, like Weah, they didn't try to reduce our people's expectation during the campaign because everybody won't vote. That's one. The Liberian people, in the midst of all of what Ellen did, they needed a leader that could give them job. They needed a leader that could have created a pathway for young entrepreneurs from the rural areas to be able to sell their goods and become middle income earners and be able to support their family, to be able to change their living condition. People's expectation was, because that's one thing when a new government takes over, people's expectation was we have appointed other young people who were going to go back and be able to impact their families and their communities economically. For example, if we are making me minister, right? I'm from battery factory. The expectation was if they appoint one person from battery factory, maybe Toba will be able to go battery factory, will be able to do something, maybe open one video club and appoint assign a 4 or 5 person to be working there for him. You know what I mean, right? But under President Weah, some of those expectations were not met. Some of those expectations were not met, and there were too many dark clouds that the CDC government put over themselves. And let me say this for the first time. I supported President Weah. I still support President Weah. I see him to be like a father to me. I respect him, and I know him to be already sound and a good person. I didn't support Weah because he called Weah sedition and what have you. No. I supported Weah because before I left Liberia, when he was yeah, like the other day, one of your asked me, "Oh, but Choco, you in America, you go to school, you doing your doctoral study, and you're allowed to be calling you Weah," and I just laughed about it. But I thought about it, but that would be a different issue. Yeah. I had this personal interaction with President Weah, right? And a lot of people, because of the way the president presents himself outside, people think that the president is empty-headed, right? And I cannot question that thought about the president. But during my interaction with the president, right, there are some practical economics that he taught me that shifted my attention to supporting the CDC until President Weah got elected. Weah might not speak. I'm about to say it. Weah might not speak all of the economic verbiages that Dr. Tipote and we will be speaking. But in his little man tone, he says, choke on. If the Liberian people elect me, I will make sure the Liberian people get work. I said, no, but how you make it happen? Because companies will not just come right away. It will take time for companies to come. He said, choke on, I don't even have to get companies to come. The first thing I'm going to do, he said that was going to be the first thing he would have done. And I never had a lot of access with him during the presidency to ask him some technical questions. But he said the first thing he would have done was to make sure that all of the companies that are doing business in Liberia, he was going to compel them to stop to stop exporting our raw materials to foreign capitals. He was going to compel them to build factories in Liberia.
On the other hand, People who
I
are
told you
listening could be concerned why President Weah, at the time he had the power, didn't pressure those companies in your words to do the right thing.
Yeah, that will be a question for President Weah. He said if he become president, he will make sure that they will be able to establish companies in Liberia, and they will transform their raw materials into finished goods in Liberia. And that will give the Liberian people the competitive edge to be able to hold key technical positions. And the government was also going to make sure that companies that are hiring people for skills that Liberians don't have, say for example, if you're hiring an engineer in a specific discipline that we don't have a Liberian trained in, if that engineer will be working in your company, you have to send a Liberian abroad to go to school to get trained in that discipline so they can be able to come back and work. We might not be the best economists, but had that been implemented, the Liberian people were going to be working regardless of their education background. They were going to be bread on their table, and the Liberian economy was going to flourish. Our GDP was going to triple, and the living condition of our people would have been one of the best in the sub-region.
Okay, let's talk about the kind of radar President Weah has been able to set and establish in our fledgling democracy. That is the fact that he conceded defeat to former Vice President Joseph Bima Boakat. A lot of the people, a lot of political pundits have termed this particular decision made by President Weah to be a unilateral decision. This is some people believe that this decision has never been backed by the tripartite arrangement. What is your own take about it?
I think the Liberian people elected Boakat, and Boakat is the president. Mm-hmm. Whether President Weah accepted it or not, I think the people elected Boakat. So there's an instant situation that happened in Uganda. So the president of Uganda then was, and he's still the president, is Yoweri Museveni. He's from the National Resistance Movement. And a former member of his political organization, Dr. Kizza Besigye, who founded the Forum for Democratic Change in Uganda, contested against him. And for some reason, that was his first election against Kizza Besigye. And Kizza Besigye was announced to be a winner. And Museveni challenged the process, they recounted the vote, and there were a lot of irregularities. And the independent election result shows that Museveni won, and there was some instability in their country. President Weah accepted the result. He was the candidate of the CDC. We supported him. President Weah knows what he did. President Weah has a master's degree from the United States. He's not a dull person. He's educated. He's smart. If he read the numbers and he decided to concede defeat, who am I to question his decision? But I think I do not subscribe, although I have some extreme political views, but I do not subscribe to me contesting against Togba right and then Togba won me and then I go for it. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. It means that the people selected a different person. And my understanding of leadership is a bit different, right? I think if the Liberian people, it's almost like a culture dance. If the Liberian people are dancing culture in circle, right, and they say, okay, Togba, you go in the middle, it's your time to dance. And you dance. You show all of your move. At a certain point, if they decide that you should leave so I can go there and dance, you should listen to the people, allow the next person to go there and dance. National leadership or presidency is not a mother blessing. It is a privilege that can be given to you by the ordinary people. And if at any point they decide to take that back from you, it is a decision of the people. Do I support Joseph Boakat? No. Will I support him? No. Do I believe in his ability to deliver? No. But that is a decision of the people. And our democracy compels us to following that decision. So that is something we have to live with. But based on my own thinking, I think we are looking at as a candidate and Boakat as a candidate. I'm not too sure if that's a sound or logical decision for anyone to have elected Boakat in the presence of President Weah. Let's forget about the health condition. Let's forget about age. Look at the practical ability to deliver. Look at the experience in government. We were president for 6 years.
Once you say one could say your analysis is based upon the fact that you have so much optimism about George Weah leading the country in a more pleasurable in a more pleasurable fashion in your understanding.
No, you know why, right? Like the reason why the people elected Waka, they thought he would have led change in Liberia. And if you electing someone with the thinking that they're going to lead change, look at some of the places that they work. When Waka was the president of the Senate, we were all kids, but that is when the popular saying of brown envelope got popular in our hearings. People talk about brown envelope all over. All of the companies were giving brown envelope. As a change leader, if I'm working as the president of the Senate and I'm from a political party, if I am an agent of change, I should be able to have one-on-one conversation with some of the guys. For example, I will come to you, oh Senator Tokwa, you're my man. The people of Bon County elected you. But I think we should push this agenda that will ensure that we transform Liberia so that our kids can have a better country and they will not have to be rushing to France and America and other places to go to school. Sometimes we should close our eyes on some of the brown envelope and project the best interest of the Liberian people. If he was going to be having those kind of engagement with people in the Senate by then, even if everybody would be driven by money, there would have been one or two person who are going to be changed from that kind of leadership and become.
Speaking about the practical nature of that philosophy, which of course you believe that Joe Barker has not been able to exhibit of his 12 years as vice president and president of the Senate. Well, can you measure that to the current vice president of the Senate also?
Oh yeah. So maybe you might consider mine to be biased, but during several occasions, the current vice president, she has been engaging senators, making sure that they support the proper agenda. The proper agenda, what is it pushing? It is pushing for equitable health care for our Liberian people. It is pushing for educational opportunities for Liberia.
Can you mind citing at least two instances in which she had a negotiation urging senators or her colleagues to actually push the interest of the proper agenda and rather than their selfish interest?
So the best health policy that we have or we have ever had in Liberia, and you can Google, it's called the Liberia Health Equity Fund. The first time the Liberia Health Equity Fund was introduced on the Senate floor by one of the senators, the guys rejected it. The Liberia Health Equity Fund has a clear-cut proper agenda linkage. And that linkage is, the document says, all of the companies that are importing their foreign beers to Liberia, all of the guys who are importing their cigarettes, all of those who are importing the milk that they give to babies, because the UNICEF is making sure that women are giving their baby breast milk. That's one of the major advocacy, and that's part of the Sustainable Development Goals under the nutrition component. They want to make sure that all those who bring in those goods, the government is going to increase the tariff, the taxes that they pay when they bring in those goods into the country, and the money that will be coming, the additional tariff that the government is going to charge on some of those goods will be used to support the healthcare sector. And the way in which the ordinary people were going to benefit, for example, if you live in Bokondide and you don't have money, the government will make sure that you be able to benefit from the same quality of healthcare that people in urban areas like Monrovia, Kakata, and other areas that have the BP hospitals, you'll be able to benefit from the same quality of healthcare. That was something that the legislature rejected the first time it was introduced, and she later told them, she later had a retreat with the Senate. After that retreat, they endorsed it unanimously. And you know that is not a foreign documentation where you say the government or maybe the foreign company is going to give brown envelope. She was able to sell the benefit of that policy to the people, and they all understood how, regardless of who's the president, what is the long-term benefit to the sitting government, and they all supported it. If that starts to be implemented, There'll be a lot of benefit, especially for those who live in rural areas. Have you followed some of the villages where people go give birth and they passing? Do you know one thing that the government have done in that direction? Right now, we have what they call the trained traditional midwives in all of the villages. All of the women who used to be in the global bush that used to deliver women, the government said, since at the moment we do not have the capacity to send people in all of the we don't have the capacity to open clinic and hospitals in all of the villages, we will make sure that those who are delivering people, the government going to train them so that they can be able to safely deliver people. So they're going to be using their traditional means of delivery until government can try to conduct their physical space analysis, get additional resources, build hospitals and clinics in some of those strategic villages and towns that will be able to serve the entire region, and train more nurses and doctors, and then try them to move into the counties. And that brings me to the issue of road. A lot of the nurses and doctors and teachers were not wanting to work in even Sano County. Why? Because if you're in Sano County and you left a big brother woman in town and the court say your woman gave birth, it will take you about 2 days to come to town. But with the massive road development that President we have started, people were open to working in other places because they could have commuted from point A to point B. I know we didn't do 100% with the road, but that was something that he started. And if anyone comes to leadership and see us continue to it and start from where we are stopped and try to expand those roads to other places that didn't reach, the country benefits. Because even those who are making their small pepper farms in the interior, they will be able to take their goods from the interior, bring it to town and sell, and they're going to gain more as compared to selling it in the village. So those are all equal.
Yeah, let's move to other talking points. Looking at the outcome of the elections result from the general elections result, particularly to the presidential runoff election. A lot of people I say that this election is a highly contested election, but even though Joe Waka, former Vice President Joseph Waka, has been declared the winner of the elections, other people believe that there should be more programs meant to unite the people, because the elections result has shown beyond all reasonable doubt that Liberians are actually divided. What is your own analysis with regards to their own analysis as well?
So my first prediction is that the presidency will be hard for Bwaka. Liberia is equally divided based on my own outlook. I pretty much believe that the race was almost like a 50-50 race, give or take. Because if you just try to harmonize all of those percentage and just share among the two guys, it's almost like a 50-50 race. We have 49 point something, and then Waka have 50 point something vote. Pretty close, pretty tight. There have been no precedent in the entire world. And I want you to check it. No president has been defeated with 20,000 votes before. Never. The difference was about 20,000. Very close. That is even less than the people of District 13. So it was less than District that said that they didn't want we are. If you do a demarcation. So
I even saw a press release in which the coalition of Democratic students said it is less than the total number of people who's supposed to be living in the district.
Yeah. Yeah, and that is true. And I think the best thing that the Unity Party should have been doing was to make sure that they keep engaging the CDC constructively and making sure that they work together as a team. And when I'm talking about working together, I'm not talking about them giving CDCs their job. No, that's not my thinking. And even the CDC also has a responsibility. And I think we're going to have a relatively different kind of opposition as compared to before. Because right now, the CDC is in, the United Party is in national leadership. The expectation is the major opposition party will be able to provide policy recommendation or alternative ideas for the Unity Party to provide sound leadership until there can be another election. Like it or not, election is over. There's no more election until after 6 years. So if the CDC is a people-centered institution, we as a party, we should be providing the best recommendation to the government and making sure we're selling all of our best ideas so that they can be able to implement it for our people to benefit. That is the responsibility of the CDC. On the other hand, the Liberian people elected Bwaka with a high expectation. The United Party sold out a lot of information that the CDC was corrupt, the harmonization was bad. They also criticized the free tuition policy. So the Liberian people are yearning to see their alternative to the free tuition policy. That's number one. The Liberian people are also yearning to see what they have to present that will be better than the harmonization. The Liberian people are yearning to see how the United Party is going to conduct more development as compared to the CDC government. And one thing that is going to happen is that is something that is across political line, right? If Joseph Bwaka stop the free tuition policy, there are some people who would naturally go against him because they support it.
Most definitely.
If he supported, there will be some people who will go against him too. I mean, people who even supported him. That's one. The harmonization. The reason why the government projected that policy and they started implementing it in Liberia was because there were some ministers making $1,800, assistant minister, and there was also assistant minister making $34,000. In most cases, they have competing qualification, the same qualification, the same level of experience, and one person making more than a fine. The essence of the harmonization.
Let me hold you there. Let me hold you there on that particular issue. I want to know as to what are these recommendations about the quote unquote harmonization policies in which the CDC utilized. Is it that it was a recommendation by the IMF or any World Bank Institute or any monetary institutions that was presented to the coalitions of democratic change government?
Yes, it was recommended by the IMF. But the recommendation from the IMF was contextualized in the Liberian context. So what the IMF wanted was that the IMF wanted some level of equity, meaning that they should have a pay scale. For example, if you work at Focal TV, you're a journalist, and you have Amos who also work at KNTV, at your TV, right? He's a journalist, and you guys are working for about the same hours in the same position. You have a bachelor of science in maybe mass communication. He has the same qualification, and you have worked for 3 years, and he have worked for 2 years. Their recommendation was we should have a salary scale or clearly defined salary scale, whether it is Toba, whether it is drone, or whether it is Flumo. If be on the book, if Chokon work and have this amount of qualification, this amount of education, he should make X amount. So whoever that will come, based on their experience, the human resource department will be able to make them to get into the right bracket, the right salary bracket. That is number one. That's the reason why the Liberian government started to implement the harmonization. A lot of people didn't like it because it didn't favor some people economically, but I think it benefited more people. It benefited the country more as compared to hurting the country. Because why will you have a director at the finance ministry making 4,000 and another director making 1,000?
Other people who argue that it was intended to balloon the payroll. What is your take on that particular issue?
But it doesn't make a lot of economic sense. I agree. But nobody in the Unity Party will tell me that Unity Party will not appoint some of their loyalists into key positions, because the Unity Party was elected based on an agenda. And who will be the best person to implement your agenda? It will be your people. It doesn't in any way suggest that those who are working in government will not be able to support your agenda, but it is empirical that your supporters will be more committed to implementing your plan as compared to other people. So even if the Unity Party will keep people who, like the civil servant, right? Keep all of them in their position and you'll have to ask some new people. Because some of those people who supported the Unity Party, they had their own expectations. There have never been any government in Liberia that came to power and never put some of their people in key positions. Like what Ellen did. Ellen came and she, how do you call it? She did
Oh, we are very sorry that we lost Chokomangai. So we'll take a very short break. When we resume, we will connect with Chokomangai. Let's take a very short break.
Hello there, my name is K. Lyndon Toba. I'm in search of a platform where I can get credible information of our daily happenings in Liberia and the world at large.
Hello, K. Lyndon Toba. My name is Greg Finankorishpa. Haven't you heard about Focal Online TV?
You say Focal Online TV?
Focal Online TV is located within a Tobo village community along the Japanese highway.
Tell me more about the platform.
This platform, called Focal Online TV Daily Edition of Inside the Print Media, does not encourage any form of dialogue between the viewers and the presenters.
Oh, you mean nobody calling there?
No, you can't call on a show. Let me talking out like with no calling there. So all you can do is you will listen to the news, and they can also encourage you to buy the newspaper to listen to the news in details.
But do you do viewer recognition at times?
Oh yes, we do viewer recognition. When you are watching, we notify you, and sometimes we even appreciate you on a show, telling you thank you for always following us. We also encourage you to share the live stream, because the more you share the live stream, we transform and we transition ourselves as a broadcast team as well.
Wow. So when can I better get this program you are talking about?
This program is aired every Monday to Friday at 10 a.m. to 10:45. The program runs for 45 minutes.
Wow.
And guess what?
Wow.
We bring you hot stories of our trending situation within our country, Liberia. Imagine hearing stories from Hot Pepper newspaper, from the Daily Observer newspaper, from Front Page Africa. Are you a lover of Front Page Africa?
Oh yes, I'm a lover of
Front Page Africa, and the Women Voices, and a lot more. Not forgetting international news, BBC,
wow.
CNN, ABC News. We bring you headlines from those standpoints.
Wow, that is very, very, very amazing.
So we say, join us every day on the daily edition of Inside the Print Media at 10 a.m. with the headlines of top stories in our country and the world at large on Focal Online TV.
Okay, folks, we will soon be joining. We are very sorry that we lost our guest. Chokum Mangaba, he is now back. Chokum, are you back?
Yes, I'm back. And I'm so
All right,
sorry.
thank you.
My gesticulation threw my phone down. It got disconnected. I'm sorry. I know. I'm sorry.
All right, Chief. Thank you. Okay, you are back. So let's prior to the announcement, even after the announcement of the elections results, there is this growing demand. It has been one of the most topical issues in the country, owing to the fact that Joseph Boakai has now been declared the president-elect of the Republic of Liberia. A lot of people believe, vast majority of the people who supported Joseph Boakai believe that the best way to fighting corruption should immediately start with a rigorous auditing exercise. So President Weah, on the other hand, has said that President he is admonishing Joseph Boakai not to go after his government or either his officials of government. So what is your own analysis? Do you believe that going after people, especially engaging into a witch hunt process, would definitely deteriorate or destabilize the peace of our country?
So the first correction is when President Weah spoke, he spoke in context. And the context from which Dr. Weah spoke was from the background of the newly elected government hunting people based on their political affiliation. That's from the background that he spoke from. President Weah is a transparent person. President Weah will not, for whatsoever reason, protect anyone who has a single history of taking a dime from the people money. It doesn't work like that for President Weah. As a person, I do support the audit. I will appreciate the newly elected government to work with the General Auditing Commission to make sure that they audit everyone who work for government, who had government contract, who government does business with, audit everyone, and anyone who is found to have been in any form of corruption, they should be sent to the court to be prosecuted. And after prosecution, if they are found guilty, they should restitute every cent that they took from the Liberian people covers. And that is something I'm saying openly. Like, I like President Weah, but if an independent investigation is conducted and he took $1, he should give it back. I think that is one of the major responsibility of the newly elected government. And I'm just hoping, I hope they are prepared to do it, because an attempt for Joseph Boakai and his team to not audit the CDC government is going to turn public perception against them.
Most definitely.
And I'm also hoping that we'll audit the legislature, because we all been following that the current vice president, he allocated 1 million for his personal hospital in Nema County. So all of those audits should be conducted to know how those allocations were made, whether the hospital merited it, how was the money expanded, what are the reports associated with that allocation, and everything. And if he's even found guilty, he should face the law. So I think the audit is a good thing. Those who are going to be opposed to the audit are those who maybe their hands were caught in they either know that their hands in a cookie jar. I think the government should audit everybody, even students who they pay their school fee. If they don't audit students, they can even audit the students to know whether they were paying the school fee or whether they were eating it. But
that is very comical.
yeah, but I think it's a very good idea that the government should try to work on. And the only thing that I want them to do, I want them to do it in the confine of the law. They should not do it outside of the law. And under the Weah government, there has always been audit. The GSC audited the government up to 2002. I think it's only 2003 audit that needs to be conducted, and I'm not too sure if they're going to commission a different audit order from the one that GSC has commissioned. There have been too many audit reports out there that the government have not prosecuted people, so they can conduct their new audit for the current fiscal year, go back to some of the past audit reports. Those who were found into dubious acts, they should be prosecuted. I think that's fair enough. But the only thing is, I want the government to be transparent in their audit. They should not target people. They should not target people based on their political affiliation or based on some of their campaign statements or what have you. But in as much they are honest and they are making sure that they are protecting the assets of our country and making sure that our country money was being placed in the right direction, I think that's fair enough.
Let me ask the last questions perhaps, and after your response, you will be asked to give in your parting comments so that we can bring this particular interview to an end. What's this? Do you foresee Joseph Boakai, considering the fact that he had a potential partnership with the MDR headed by Prince Johnson? Do you foresee under the Unity Party-led government, under the Joseph Boakai leadership, for the frantic establishment of the war and economic crime court in Liberia?
I'm not too sure that is something that Boakai is going to do. And I stand to be corrected. You can correct me. There have never been a case where Boakai demonstrated his ability to make strong decisions. Alien government was announced by John Molo to be 10 times more corrupt than the Judy Bryan government. After Joseph Boakai left the alien government and was contesting, and when he fell apart politically, he branded people in the alien government to be corrupt. But if I was in that government and people were corrupt, I'm not corrupt, to clear my side, I was going to resign. Those are high decisions that leaders take. He never made hard decisions before that I know of.
If you ever observe the recent list of nominees to form part of the transitional team, you will notice John Molo's name is also mentioned on that particular list. Isn't that Joseph Boakai has been very sincere in the fight of corruption or tackling corruption?
Oh, but by just appointing John Molo, no, someone could say that is based on John Molo's proximity to Joseph Boakai. So that doesn't demonstrate your willingness or your ability to fight corruption. If he was a person with that anti-corruption mindset, if he was that corruption-free person, I'm not too sure if Alien as a person was engaged into corruption, but there were actors in the Alien government that were engaged into dubious activity. Like one of the other John Molo commission, he said that Gafan was found guilty for using 400 million with that wasn't accounted for. And at that point, I think Ellie said she put her neck on the chopping board for Gafan. Gafan is considered the nephew of Joseph Waka. He was silent. He didn't speak to it. There were several corrupt activities during the Ellie regime. Unfortunately for us, there were a lot of systems that were instituted, and people started talking about corruption in institutions were publicizing other reports. During how many occasions Waka publicly spoke out, naming and shaming people who were engaged into corruption or pushing the government to prosecute people that were engaged into corrupt activities. If a leader demonstrates those characteristics, yes, then you will see this person is serious about the fight against corruption. And now that they're about to take over, we're going to see them demonstrate what they have been advocating or fighting for. But Waka haven't demonstrated any of those. So, based on my own thinking, I'm not too sure he's going to be able to deliver on that pillar. Anti-corruption. If he's bringing the same corrupt people in government, the same Gafan who John Molu said that he took 4 million. He's behind how you call it. He wasn't prosecuted. He's behind this guy, Joseph Waka. Amara Kone was finance minister for several years. All of the time that he was finance minister, there were several corruption issues that were tied to his ministry. The ministry was not able to generate the amount of revenue that we are generated. Liberia runs a cash-based budget. That means the Liberian government only spend the money that we generate from revenue, the taxes we collect, and from other places.
A lot of people who argue that the table was already arranged for the Weah-led administration, and this is why contributed to the fact that they were able to generate that kind of revenue that they are now boasting about.
Then I will ask that person, how will the table be created? Because during Ellen time, the highest the budget reached was approximately 600,000. For the last 4 years, the Amara Kone served as Minister of Finance. There were always budget shortfalls, meaning they overestimated what the government projected to have accumulated. They were not able to accumulate those. So because of that, they had to conduct some major fiscal space analysis, areas where there were funds, and they felt like those areas were not too important. They redirect some of those allocations to areas where they needed to support the government budget. They were not able to generate 600,000. So how would they set you up to generate 700,000, 700 million? If they had the capability to have generated that amount of revenue, they would have generated it. But during that time, they could not even meet their projection. And we went like 0.5% of what they projected, and we never had any budget shortfall. The government consistently generated revenue. We had donor fatigue when we had took over, meaning the international community was not putting resources into Liberia as they were during the previous regime. And we have conducted massive development in Liberia. So in essence, when we say that we are using minimal resources to make maximum economic impact in Liberia, and like him or not, the footprint of President Weah is all over. If you are living in Kakata, Zwedge, and other places, we have the KROTTI. They have been expanded so that we can have more teachers going to get quality education. All of the KROTTI, the ZROTTI, the Lofa Multilateral Teacher Training Institution, the government tried to expand those areas. And another thing that the government did that I didn't touch on was that apart from just appointing one person, say, okay, I'm the CEO of the county, and then that person, let's say that the Ministry of Education, the government ensured that she provided them cars and motorbikes so that all of the county's education officer and the district education officer were touching base with their teachers on a regular basis, because there was a consultant that was hired under President Weah to conduct a critical analysis.
Even under the early administration, we saw a decentralized protocol of people working at the Ministry of Education. Those DO were often visiting the counties and other places to bring money report to the ministry.
Yeah, let me tell you one thing, right? So the issues that the Liberian education sector have been engulfed and enveloped with has been this issue of teachers' quality and their time in class. There are some schools that had quality teachers, but those teachers were not spending time in class. When I attended UEL, I did a course called Mathematics for Economists. And my instructor was Dr. Christopher Wallace. At the time, he was the Minister of Planning and Economic Affairs. For that entire semester, Dr. Christopher Wallace never came to class one day. One Peking, who you consider his TA, was the one presenting the lecture. You cannot have a bachelor's degree and you teach another person to have a bachelor's degree. And the reason is simple. If I ask you a question, you're only be able to give me theoretical answer. But if I had Dr. Christopher Wallace as my instructor, if I have questions because I'm finding it difficult to understand the theories, he will give me some practical experience.
Provide practical
Based
example.
on, based on some of the different areas that he have worked. So what we are led government did was that the CEOs and DEOs went to the counties, make sure if they went to school A, maybe John Brown school, and this teacher doesn't have quality, they're not just going to take you from the payroll. The government will refer you to the nearest teacher training institution. Make sure you keep receiving your pay while you get your teacher's education. And those who were qualified and in class, checking on them consistently to make sure they were spending time in class. And I think you also know that the government increased people's salary.
Okay. Yeah. So the numbers to call is displayed on the stream, so you can use that number to participate. Better still, you can put in your questions. I see S. Amos Tamba. He said, "I'm following from Team Andy Office, District 13, Montreal County. Question 1: In your opinion, what qualities and skills should the new government official possess in order to effectively lead Liberia towards progress and prosperity?" So we are very sorry that we had to hold you there. We had to interrupt you and just respond and allow you to respond to those questions that have been asked by the viewers. I think you will start. I don't know as to whether I should use this single pattern to just read out the questions, and perhaps you can just respond to them as a whole. Which one do you think necessary, Chief? Hello? 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 Mr. Boga, how are you? Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I said I apologize for interrupting you, but we are pressed time, and I just wanted to read out the questions to you from those people who are actually following the conversation religiously. So as Emma Stammer has a question, he has about 4 questions. He says, number 1 question, in your opinion, what qualities and skills should the new government official possess in order to effectively lead Liberia towards progress and prosperity?
So to that first question, right? For example, one might say Chokon has a Master's of Science in Basic Phenomenology. So we can make Chokon a minister. That is a wrong assumption. We should look for people who have the mixture of education and practical experience. And that was one of the most risky experiments that President Weah took, although I support young people working in key government positions. But one thing that I learned and appreciated from Ellen was that before Ellen made Gafan, Amara Kone, and a lot of the people, ministers around here, she put them under, for example, if Amos have about 5 years experience working with the World Bank, and then he's also maybe like an economist, and then maybe Chokon have a degree in economics, but he haven't worked in that field. So what Ellen did was that she would make Amos the minister and maybe make me a director under Amos, so that I can be able to get some of the experience from Amos, so that when he is retiring, I will be able to take over the mantle. That is one thing that Baka should do. I know a lot of people might be yawning for key political position right now. Yes, but I think he should be able to look beyond their expectation and look for the best people who have the ability to deliver, because the Liberian people have a high expectation for this guy they elected. Like it or not, if he will promote political patronage in the presence of meritocracy, that will lead to his downfall. So my recommendation will be for him to select the best people, and I think that is fair enough. That is what all leaders should be doing. Did we have to select the best people? Did he blend people with experience with those young people? No. But how did the experiment go? You can judge it. From my own reading, I could say a welcome fan for Weah, but the next man could say that led to his defeat. And there are key sectors, right? Like I've lived in the US for a bit of time, and I know that recommendation is very important. For example, you could have your master's degree in finance, you could be an economist, but if you haven't worked with the IMF, you haven't worked with the World Bank, if you don't if you don't have the capacity to speak the relevant jargon that they need, and they do not have that trust in you, they will be uncomfortable doing business with you as compared to other people who have worked with them before. That is the reason why when Ellie became president, she appointed Dr. Antoinette Sai. And Antoinette Sai was able to work instrumentally with some of her co-workers before, press all of the relevant buttons to make sure that she gets all of the best deal for Liberia. When it comes to loan, when it comes to grant, she was able to make the case, and based on her workings with those people, they were able to trust her and give her the platform that she had. And I think, like,
yeah, let's just do it. Let's just do the questions in a nutshell because there are 4 questions. Other people we want to call in. Hello.
Yes, I'm still here.
Yeah. Okay. So, what are your expectations from the new government in terms of promoting transparency, accountability, and good governance? That is another question that Amos wrote.
I think my answer on that would be like a sentence. I think the Unity Party government will underperform. They won't fight corruption. They will never be transparent. And based on the caliber of people that I'm seeing around Joseph Boakai, I think that would be a successful team that will lead him to failure. That's my thinking.
Okay, how can the citizens of Liberia actively participate in shaping the policies and decisions of the new government? That is the last question so far.
Yeah, I think they should keep engaging their government constructively, and some of the constructive engagement should be by organizing a lot of peaceful protests. They should keep petitioning their government, and they should try to take some practical action. Like, for example, if you selected Amos as your lawmaker, and then Amos is not consulting his people, he keep going to the lower house and making decisions based on the way he think or the way he feel, and the people of District 13 feels uncomfortable with those kind of decisions, they should be able to come together in their mass petition the legislature to impeach that person. So anyone who is not representing their best interest, they should be able to speak out against those people and be able to make sure that their best interest is always respected and protected. And the Liberian people should stop seeing people who working in government as their employer. They should see themselves as the employer of the president, the lawmakers, and they should be able to call those people to book at whatever time it is. Whatever they're not comfortable with, they should be able to tell them. And if they present their views and their leaders are not adhering to it, they should follow the constitution, remove the person. Yeah, they should remove the person. If the president underperforming, he failed in campaign messages, they should walk up to him and remove him. We have the lower house, we have the court.
Okay, so the numbers to call is 0770 5748 and 0886 82 708209. Those are the numbers to call, and you can be a part of the discussion here. It has actually been an elaborate conversation here. Chukwumunga, an intellectual, a political analyst, an educator, he has been here giving his own opinions relative to the trends of politics in Liberia and his perspectives or his vision about the incoming administration. So, Chukwum, will you mind giving us your parting comments since we don't have any other call coming in?
Yeah, I just want to appreciate you for inviting me on your platform. I want to appreciate everyone who listened to your broadcast. And I think this should be the responsibility of we as young Liberians to keep engaging constructively. We should stop cursing at each other. We should be able to come around the table and bring forth our best ideas, whether you like the person or not. It is only I think politics should be a competition of ideas. So if we see politics from that standpoint and we are bringing forth our best idea, I think our country will be able to transition to the place that we would like to see Liberia going. And before I leave you, I just want to give you I'm going to take a minute. I'm just going to give you a few readings of things that will happen. So we have an inauguration coming up in next year. According to the Constitution, the inauguration is the first joint section of the lower house and the upper house. And the Constitution clearly states that that section should be presided over by the Speaker and or the Deputy Speaker if the Speaker is not present. The Senate will also have their election and they will be electing their pro tem. The Congress for Democratic Change has a majority in the Senate and the lower house. So, should there be an election and the CDC wins the Senate pro tem position, the speakership, and the deputy speakership? What if the speaker, the deputy speaker, and the pro tem doesn't attend the inauguration? Will Baka be inaugurated? That's a question. If the majority of the CDC lawmakers refuse to attend the inauguration, there wouldn't be a quorum, meaning the legislature will not have enough people to do business. Will there still be an inauguration? Maybe you can give your thought. Thank you so much for bringing me on the show.
We would love to invite you most of the time to give your opinions about the trends of politics in Liberia.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Toba. I'm always open to appearing on your program.
Okay, thank you. So, folks, okay, this is how we would choose to cut your day. It has always been a fiery conversation. Chogo Mungai, an educator, an intellectual, you heard him. He has been able to give in his personal opinion on many of the trend of political issues in Liberia. So, thanks to all of you who have been following this live broadcast religiously. And this is how I choose to cut it a day.